Welcome to the episode number 3 of the podcast. And today we have a very special guest all the way from New York, Jerrod Lew. Thank you so much for being here. I met him at Upskill Conference in San Francisco. It was May 20 something, so almost 2 months ago. That's time flies. Jerrod is an amazing content creator, and he is up to date with so many of the AI tools that are like the latest of the latest. So for the people that don't know you, Jerrod, can you please briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for the opportunity to be here. This is really fun. And I'm Jerrod. I make online educational videos about AI tools, focusing in art, video, productivity. But I'm also a musician. I write music in my spare time. I work professionally in social media and risk reputation management stuff. I've been a content creator for a very long time over the years, and the last 2 years I've focused on AI and the aim is to try to bring this new technology to everyone to see if it can help people. And I feel very lucky over the last couple of years that it's opened up so many opportunities. So yeah, that's me. I just love making content.
Well, thank you. Thanks so much for being here. And yeah, I have seen, I took a dive in the channels that you had. So you have quite a journey, different scenarios. You mentioned music, also gaming. So what sparked that curiosity of starting creating videos and sharing with people? Because in a sense, it's more in the educational side, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I first started, it was 2007, and I'm like a teenager who was learning guitar, but by myself. I stole my dad's guitar and was just learning to play it, and I didn't know what I was doing. I just, you growing up, I moved around many countries, and I always really struggled to have a voice in these new places that you move to. And I found that one way to have a voice is to do creative things, like picking up the guitar or singing or making content and videos online, because I found that it's a way that people will see your content even if they don't know who you are, and it opens up opportunities. And I mean, if you go back and look at the original stuff, it's like I look so young, and and the thing is, I lost the email password for that account. So that stuff is there forever, and it's fine. It's just I can't change it. But it really started because I wanted to share stories, and I wanted to have a voice, and I didn't want to do the same thing everyone else was doing, and it felt very natural to do, and also kind of cool. It felt really high tech at the time. Like, oh, I'm borrowing my family laptop to learn how to edit a video and how to record music and post it and stuff like that. So yeah, it was all just based on telling stories, basically.
Well, that's an amazing start. And also I think it's kind of awesome that you still have all of that. Like you mentioned the email, but also to take a look back and see all the journey that you have come till this day, right? And what you mentioned about moving to different countries and how do you find this way of expressing yourself and connecting, that's also a really nice way to know that you have started this journey. And touching on that point, how do you feel, or do you think that moving from different countries at a young age changed your perception of how to get along with everyone? You went to very different places.
Yeah, it was a lot of moving, and it was because of my parents' work. They kept moving. My parents, so me and my younger sister, and then later on my younger brother, we all just kind of followed along. And it's difficult moving when you're young because you're going to different schools, it's different cultures, different languages, and it's very hard to learn a new language when you're only in a new country for 1 or 2 years, and then you move again, and then you start again. So we're completely fresh. The hardest thing for me was making friends and breaking into social groups. And the older you get, the more people that you meet that have lived in these places their whole lives, and this is their home. And I really struggled to again to have a voice and to make friends and to find communities. But that's why like the content side was really cool, because it was like this big creative outlet that I could do without anyone. It was just, it's me. To this day, it's still just me doing it. And it felt productive. It felt like something that would set me up potentially for the future. And it helps when you're in a new place and all you have around you is your guitar and I guess a laptop later down the track, and you can still do things. And yeah, it wasn't easy. I mean, and I think the reason I don't talk about it too much is because it sounds amazing on paper. Like, wow, you've lived in all these countries, like moved around a lot, and it is great. I feel very blessed I got to do that, but it wasn't, as a kid doing this, it was very, very, very lonely to go through it.
Well, thank you so much for opening up and sharing a bit of this story, because I mean, in such a curated world, like social media can be so perfect when we look at it from our phones, right? But then all of these backstories really shape who we see in the tutorials or the newsletters. So thank you so much for opening up and sharing a bit about your story, because it takes a lot and it takes courage to do so. So thank you for sharing that. But yeah, I mean, I have also been following your. It's also funny because before I went to Upskill conference, I remember seeing your post about AI on X, like on updates about all of the creative tools, like from generative video, generative images, and I remember, oh, those are really cool threads, right? Because X or Twitter, it's threads.
Yeah.
And then I saw you in Upskill conference, and we connected, and we were at the table with where everyone was Aussie, like also my sister-in-law and this other person that we met, and all of you guys got so excited. So what are your feelings towards like this evolving industry that it's moving so fast? Like how to keep up? Because I remember a term that they said at the conference, which was AI stress. I don't remember who said it or when, but it really stuck with me.
Yeah, I think
because it. How do you feel about that?
It's true. I think Sophia from Freepik said this about AI stress, and it's very true because as creatives, I think we're naturally curious about what's happening out there, and I don't think I've ever seen this much technological advancement in the creative space, like ever, especially in my creative career and stuff. It's like every day there's something new, and we're both part of different AI creative programs, and it's like every week it's like, hey, we're launching the biggest thing ever this week, and I'm there like, oh my god, like what? Here we go again. And to keep up is so difficult. It's challenging, and I think the best way I keep up is like thanks to the community. Like if you go on social media on, from obviously Twitter or X or Instagram, or even on pages on sites like Reddit, people there are really good at posting the latest stuff that happens. And I'm very blessed to be a small part of that community and trying to help as much as I can. There's a lot of stuff I still miss, and I do my best to to be quick, because tomorrow something else might come out, and it is stressful. It is difficult, and especially when you're partnered with a bunch of different AI companies and they all want you to promote, talk about their product. The list becomes very big every week. I need to make a video about this thing and that thing, this thing. You have to start prioritizing to reduce the stress. And I think another thing is what people don't realize is, especially from my perspective, this is not my full-time thing. Like this is not a full-time. We all have different work and different income sources, and for a lot of us doing this AI content stuff, I don't think it really is an income source for a lot of us. It's just because we're really passionate about creativity and art, video, and all this stuff. So it adds extra to that stress. So so that because at Upscale it did stick with me that as well, because I was like, yeah, it's so true. There is a stress with AI because everyone keeps launching new stuff like every day. Yes, it's a lot.
Yeah, and also like every company, of course, they're gonna want the most public to be using their platform. So every time I feel like this one did this amazing thing, and then the other one comes on top, and just like never ending, which is amazing and at the same time overwhelming. So I have talked about this with Sergio, with my partner, about how we are spending the same amount of time on the computer as we used to, because we have done filmmaking for about like 8 years, and like before AI we were always on the computer editing or like selecting the photos, etc., right? But now it's the same amount of time on the computer, but also like it's not the same to be editing a video or photos towards like getting all the updates in your mind, because it's a lot of like learning curve, even when it's a new tool or when there's a new update, right? Like you have to figure it out, mostly
Yeah,
when you're a creative partner, like you have no clue, maybe some guidelines, but understand it in one day, get the information out, and like, just keep it rolling, be creative. So it can be like a lot. So I have like just starting to do, like we do these walks to the park like as a break when we
yeah,
can, right? And just go outside, walk, feel the sun, feel the air. Every once in a while when we can, we just try to go to nature, because then it can be just so much like inputting into our minds
yeah,
and understanding, and then there's no much more to output, because it's just like draining at a point.
yeah.
I mean, it's amazing, but it can be draining.
No, it's absolutely, it's a lot. And like, look, I sit right here for so many hours a day for videos, for work, for everything, and I force myself to go outside now, and I've I'm trying to get better at taking care of myself, like going to the gym, running, just going for a walk, eating better, things like this, because I you can really quickly like lose track of yourself because you're always editing and you're always trying a new tool out, and time really flies. Like if you're trying a new AI tool, a new art or video tool, you're just generating like crazy and you're so hyper focused on it, and then the time just disappears and you're like, damn, I've been doing this for 3-4 hours now, and I need to make a video, and there is a stress that comes with that, and I try my best to make the process as quick for me as possible. Um, Unfortunately, not every video, not every post is good, but sometimes it doesn't have to be the best. Sometimes it's enough just to do what I can, and yeah, it's a lot, and I think for me the thing here is, I think with the stress that comes with it, and you know this because you're like a professional expert at what you do in filmmaking. Everything that we do for content in this space is teaching us new skills. You know, we're learning how to edit, we're learning how to use AI tools, we're learning how to talk about the tools and tell stories about the tools to make it useful for people. And I think those are really valuable skills that a lot of people maybe aren't focusing on right now. Because if we can imagine a future where, you know, AI continues to advance and more of the stuff that we do for work gets taken, I think one of the key things that will be left is our knowledge of how to communicate, you know, how to see AI tools as a co-pilot to help us, not as like a threat. So I think what we're doing is really positive for this. You know, it may not seem like it because it's a lot of work, but in my job when we talk about AI, I realize that we are so ahead of the curve in this community than the majority of people out there, and hopefully that makes us specialists in the future. And all this effort was worth it. I hope.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because at the end of the day, like I believe you started, or correct me if I'm wrong, like 2 or 3 years ago, right? Making content about AI. So
Yeah,
that's usually also when we started, like 3, almost 4 years ago, exploring. Like the other day, I made a post about like the first image I generated in Midjourney, and
yeah,
then used the same prompt and with the model of today, and it's just such a big leap. And it's only 3 years, which was, I mean, Midjourney said 185 weeks of difference,
yeah.
which are a lot. But at the end
Well,
of the day, it just moves so fast. And being here putting all this work in, also making new connections, which I think it's amazing, like being able to connect with other creators, seeing how people that maybe didn't have the resources to make a film, or like, I feel in a way it's like democratizing creation. Maybe
Oh
some
yeah,
people will use it more in the, I don't know, in the finance world. It has so many use cases, but in the creativity part, precisely, it can open up the world so much. Like, just imagine having these tools at, I don't know, at 16, if you wanted to, like, to record
oh
a song or
yeah.
a movie. I don't know, so it
Could you
gives
imagine if we had this back then? Oh my god.
yeah, I mean, the kids of today, like, of course, college and all of that, it's important, but now they can create a project that maybe seems so far away,
Yep.
because of the tools, right? So in that sense, I think it's amazing. And I mean, in Mexico, it's a little bit like, some people like it, some people don't like it. I feel like in the US, it's a bit more accepted now, a bit more adopted. How do you think it
Yeah.
is? I mean,
I
maybe
think
on your job. Mhm.
well, I mean, I think the US is it's probably the most open place to talk about AI. I mean, there's obviously a lot of people that are skeptical, people that are anti AI and against
Mm.
it. And, I think it's totally valid to be skeptical. I think it's a good thing because I don't have the answers for it if these tools are good or bad. I don't know what good or bad is. But I think there's an opportunity with these tools, and as you mentioned, that we democratize it, and there's no more gatekeeping on, you can't make this type of art or you can't make that video because you don't have that editing software or you don't have the money to pay for art classes. And I think it's good that more people get the opportunity to create things that they want without having to go down traditional ways. Um, and the thing that really inspires me with all this is, I'm someone, I'm an immigrant, I'm an expat. I've moved to places around the world. I've lived in places that were really racist and really discriminatory towards me as an Asian guy. And I struggle to have a voice. I struggle to have to share my opinion and to share my story. But I wish I had AI tools back then because I would have been able to create content and art to tell my story in a way that wasn't like me going around and just talking about it. But it's other pathways now. So my dream with AI art and video tools is that everyone in society, no matter where your background is, has the opportunity to share their story in their own way, not the way that someone else has told them to tell the story, if that makes sense. And
Mm.
that's my guiding light with all this. That's why I want to make content that shows people how to do stuff. And in the US, it's a good place to do it. All the big AI companies are here or have a presence here. But I will say that you look over at Europe and a lot is now happening over there too. And obviously you look towards China, and I think China is like years ahead and they're just not telling us. But America's a good place in the western part of the world, I think, to at least have an open discussion about it, um, and not be shut down.
Yeah, I mean, we are at a good moment in history. We were born when we were born. Like, we cannot do anything about
Oh,
that, but we are alive right now to tell the stories. And maybe we had to grow up with the tools that were like back in our era, like VHS and cassettes and all of
yeah.
these, to like really appreciate what we have now. So in a way, I believe like this timing is for a reason, and that it's really like amazing what you say. That's also part of what inspire us to create tutorials, to create educational content. Because back then, like I wanted to go to film school. That was not a possibility when I was about to go to college, and I ended up studying graphic design. And something similar happened to Sergio, to my partner in House of Media. And like, it's just this way that we both learned so much from the internet. Like, we both also self-taught and just like learn from tutorials from other people's videos. So this is just a way to saying thank you and giving back to the internet. And yeah.
Such a good way to see it because it's so true. I mean, I learned guitar, drums, and keyboard and everything from YouTube videos, like back in the day. I'm so grateful for the people back then that took the time to do that. 'Cause it's like you pay a lot of money for this stuff. Like if you go down the film school route or the music school route, I could spend years and thousands of dollars, but actually this person just made a video of a 30-minute tutorial. I can just watch it and learn, and it's great. I think it's awesome. I think it challenges traditional like education pathways, and I think I went to university for something completely different, but you know it was always growing up. I was told you finish school, you go to university, you get your degree, then you get a job. Um, I hope that now with AI and things, there's other ways that people can approach a traditional career and do it differently. I think it's really positive. And I think some people are obviously skeptical of it and scared of it. Some people are protective of their skills and their experiences. I hope over time they can see that democratizing this stuff is a really good thing for the world.
Yeah, most definitely. And I agree on that. Like maybe the education path will always, I mean, will probably change with these all of these new tools because it's going so fast. Like how are like I don't know exactly how it works in the US, but for example, the public university here in Tijuana in Baja California, it's just like they changed their program of studies, like the curriculum, I guess, every I don't know every 4 years. Like some really big amount of time happens in between the changes, and I feel like that cannot be anymore. Like it needs to be constantly updated because if this is going so fast just in each area which we are talking about, like filmmaking and image creation and all of these tools that we explore on tutorials, like how does these look on I don't know a financial area or architecture planning, I don't know, like all of these other aspects like medicine, for example. It must be changing probably even faster than the area that we work on. I'm not sure, but this definitely going to have some shift in the education path, like
Yeah.
just I can imagine.
Oh, for sure. I mean, my younger brother, he's 18. We have a bit of an age gap, and I we've always lived in different countries, but talking to him as he was going through high school, and now he just started university. I was mind blown when the school told him that my parents need to buy him a laptop for school. When I was in high school or school, I didn't have a laptop to go to school with. I just had books and a notepad to write. He gets an gets an iPad and like a MacBook Pro, and he goes to school with this. I'm like, what do you do on that? I'm like, oh, we do all of our assignments on here. We can send messages to the teacher on Microsoft Teams, and I'm like, what? This is crazy. Like, how do you not like cheat on everything that you're doing? And he's really tech savvy, and he's like, yeah, it's really easy for me. The teachers don't think we're doing it, but it's so easy for us to use different tools to secretly do tests and assignments. And it made me realize like, yeah, the education system needs to evolve here. It needs to learn and fast. And I think it's a really challenging time for that industry and many others with this new technology. There is a pressure now to change, and that isn't a bad thing. I only worry about the people that are involved, like teachers and professionals that have been doing work in a certain way for decades. Their whole life is on this, and now being told to change so quickly. I hope there is a focus on making sure there's time for them to shift. And we have all seen the news about layoffs this year in the tech industry and things like this, which are really bad. I really hope this is not how it happens for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there has been usually in history like these certain points that bring in big changes, like these like technological events, right? But from what I have seen and studied, this is one of the biggest one because it's not only affecting like in the industrial revolution, right? It affected like a certain area, but this is just like so much bigger that I believe that we can even see. And I am not an expert on education or like medicine or all of these, but what I can share is that being updated, at least just to know what it is about, how it works. Like I always send my mom like these reels made with AI, mostly the ones with VO3 and stuff. Like, mom, like, don't believe everything you see
Yeah,
on Instagram or Facebook. Like, because we know when we can still see it because we
yeah,
work with it when it's AI, but it's getting to a point where it's going to be unperceptible. Like, you're not going to be able to notice even if you work with the tools. So
yeah,
it just needs to be more education also in that sense. So like, I don't know, like our aunties or mom or
yeah.
sisters, brothers, they don't just get everything from the internet because yeah.
No, totally. I think like critical thinking is a really important thing here. And keeping that skill up, which is why I said earlier, being skeptical is a good thing because it's so easy to fake um, a person's face and a voice now. Like it's so easy to deep fake someone. It's so easy to write in a certain way and create fake accounts about people. And also, yeah, like VO3, it looks so realistic that you know sometimes I'm scrolling on Instagram I'm watching it and I'm like, oh wait a minute, this isn't real. Why am I so invested in this? Um, and it's an interesting time, but like being critical when it comes to thinking and having that second to go, okay, I watched this reel, it's by AI, is this really true? And then taking time to verify it, I think it's going to become way more important. And in my professional job where I work in reputation management, the number one threat I tell my company is, is AI is going to tell our story better than we tell it because we're not using the tools as effectively as potentially other people.
Mm.
And, we're lucky that so far that we haven't had a major issue. But God, it's so easy to deep fake someone, especially like senior leaders in a company who have so many high definition images and video and interviews of their voice. It's like a gold mine for anyone that wants to cause a problem. But there is an education with it. I can't just go around yelling at people. This is a problem. You have to bring them on the journey of explaining it and why it's important. And it's a frustrating and long process, but it sometimes you have to do it. And I really focus on that now.
Wow. No.
Bringing
Mhm.
bringing the general public along the journey.
Yeah, and it's like so mind blowing when you say it that way. Like, there's so many HD photos and recordings, like so easily you can do that, and that's where also like this ethical part comes in, right? Like, each person will use it with their ethical like part in mind, I guess, and will put the work either in the good way or the bad way. Like, they
Yeah,
say, like, I don't know who was the quote from. Like, I just remember from a movie. I mean, it's I don't remember. Oh yeah, with from Spider-Man. With
yeah.
great power comes great
Well,
responsibility.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It becomes that quote really is important now because like these AI tools are so accessible and they're honestly and they're quite cheap for the amount of stuff that you can make with them. That anyone can go in and do this, and so everyone has a responsibility now. In the past, I think it was some of these tools were only accessible by big companies or rich people. Anyone can jump on ChatGPT on the free plan and just start making stuff, images to writing to creating content. It's so easy now. It's easy to start and easy to have an impact. So we need to be careful. And yeah, the whole ethical side, I think, is that's a big thing. And I think that's why we are seeing more AI companies like Adobe and Moon Valley this week. They have their tools that are trained on licensed material. And I hope this continues to be the norm with other companies out there because there are some tools that I use and talk about. And if I sit down and go, all right, how was this made? I don't know where they got the data from. No clue. And it's hard to find that information out as well. So I hope we have more transparency around this because the last thing I want is people's work to be stolen and people's personalities and character to be taken from them. That's really bad, I think.
Yeah, of course. It's definitely top like priority that this is used like in the ethical way, and that, I mean, at the end of the day, will be in each person's hands. But I hope that everyone that uses these tools does it in the good way. So, like, just talking a little bit more like about your content creation journey. What will be, because it has been quite a while that you have done this now. So, what will
Yeah.
be like your tip for someone that's starting or that's like doubting if they should or not start? Like, what is like your top tip, secret sauce, I don't know, that you want to share?
Honestly, the secret sauce is that there really are no secrets, because everyone hits the same button when they post something. No matter if you put $1 million into your content or no money into it, it's the same upload button. And the second you hit upload, we have no control as to what happens next. We put it out there. Obviously, you can have a good thumbnail. You can have, the content is different and you can optimize it in certain ways. But when it goes into the platform, it's up to the platform where it goes. There's no one out there that truly knows. And if anyone ever says to you, I know how to go viral on this platform, they're lying. No one has any idea, because it changes all the time. And I've been working in social media for a long time, and I don't know truly what is going to become popular. So instead of focusing on the end result and the numbers and the data, just focus on enjoying the journey of making something and start there. And it's not you post once and you have all the answers. I think this is something that like Mr. Beast said in an interview around making content. He said that, if you can be consistent enough to post 100 pieces of content, and in every single next piece of content you improve it a little bit based on feedback of the previous one, by the end of that journey, you're probably going to be doing quite well. You would have definitely grown. So the key, there is no secret really. It's just get started. Find something that you enjoy talking about, something that you're curious about, and try different ways of talking about it, whether it's just a text post, or maybe it's an image, or it's an AI video, or it's a virtual avatar because you don't want to be on camera, or just pick up like your phone and make a selfie of you talking to the phone and post it. There's so many tools out there where you can edit stuff for free now. I mean, the Instagram Edits app that came out this year is so good for editing reels. Like, it's fantastic. I was surprised because I hate editing on my phone, but that made it so easy. I was like, oh, this is actually really good. There's so many ways that you can do it now, and it's the best time to start is like right now. And I wouldn't even look at the numbers, your follower accounts, your subscriber counts, your engagement metrics. I wouldn't look at that until you've posted like 20, 30, 50 pieces of content. And just go from there, really. It's not rocket science, honestly. It's not. It's just you got to start and enjoy the process of learning, of doing it. That's the fun part about it. I love sitting down with a new AI tool. I'm playing with the tool. I'm recording different things, and then I'm trying to make a video about it. It's such a fun process to try and how do I want to edit this? How do I want to I love it. And so if you can get into that flow state, it's like the best.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I totally agree on that part of just like not thinking about it too much, because for a while I did think about it too much. And mostly when I started doing like I started more with photography tutorials, and like I have a photo book series also that I just love so much. I love like just recording the photo books and sharing them with people, because it's so hard to get those at the library in Mexico. Like, unless you're in a big city like Mexico City or Monterrey, something like that, you will find them. But if not, it's just, you won't. So it's a way of sharing them. And then when I started creating AI educational content, I felt this new spark again, because with photography, I felt that it was already like so much. Like I started to get tired, even though that I am still a photographer and I do love photography. But then I found like this new spark creating AI educational content and trying the new tools, making like new stories or test for films that we are working on. So that part really, I believe, is the most important one. Just really enjoy what you are sharing in order for the process that obviously at some point maybe you are tired of the editing, or like, I don't know, the light or something. Like you said, editing on the phone can be like
That's
usually
hard.
terrifying, but
Yeah.
I do agree on the edits app, it's really good. So just finding this topic that you really enjoy can make the whole difference about creating content. But yeah.
Yeah. I think people sometimes forget that everyone has like incredible stories to tell. Everyone has so many skills to that they do in their day to day, whether it's for work or whatever they do in their day to day life. You're using skills that you've learned from your life and the world around you and your background. And like, I don't think people realize that people don't talk about that enough at all. And the second you start to share a bit of your perspective or your processes for how you create something, you're gonna bring people in because that's what that's what we all want to know. You know, like all those tutorial videos we spoke about, we watch them even though they may be 30 minutes long because we want to know how to do something. And it's the same for AI. I love watching people prompt because everyone prompts so differently. And it's fascinating to me that the way I prompt is like so different from everyone else. And I'm like, that's such a cool way. I didn't think that you could prompt that way. I didn't know you could prompt this way. I didn't know that word would do this. I didn't even know that this camera motion had a name. You know, these different things. Um, it's if you start to share and open up the door a little bit, and don't be scared or thinking, oh, I don't know if my perspective is important or good enough. Don't worry about that. You know, don't let that be the one thing that stops you because you don't know yet because you haven't published anything yet. You know, put it out there, and you know if it really is bad, you don't like it, you can always just delete it. But if there's a time to start, I think it's now because you can build your personal brand, you can get the attention you deserve for being a creative, and I think that's something that creators deserve more of. It's more attention and more respect. And now's the time, you know, because AI is the big thing. Jump on it and yeah, enjoy that spark, as he said, that comes to making that type of content.
Definitely. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. This has been an amazing conversation, Jerrod. Thank you for opening up, also for like sharing us a little bit of your backstory, which is always just like such a sensitive fiber like to go into. So thank you for that as well. And yeah, I don't know if you have any last thoughts you want to share, or like, I don't know, your favorite book or movie, or I don't know, just any last thoughts.
Uh, thoughts. I always just want to say, you know, if you can if you can create something every day for yourself, I think it always brings a smile to my face when I can create something every day, and that's what I encourage everyone to do. The world is a bit of a scary place right now for different things around the world. So everything that you do for yourself, I think, is more important than ever. And it's a journey I'm on right now. I'm trying to take better care of myself, and I hope everyone else also does the same. Yeah, in terms of best movies, that's my favorite movie right now. I don't know. I'm watching Superman tomorrow, so I'm very excited to see that. And then
Oh,
we'll
it's
see how
really
we go.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm a big comic book superhero fan. So
that's awesome.
um, yeah, but hugely appreciate the opportunity to be on here and to speak to you. Yeah, you're pretty awesome, and you're like a proper expert in all this. So to be invited to speak to you is really cool. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. And I do believe that everyone can bring their expertise. Like you have an expertise in so many other different areas, and you're bringing it in and creating these amazing tutorials for creative. So I believe like everyone can just jump in and start creating with these tools. And I think that's the really amazing part of it. But most of all, having like the discipline and the, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to share it. So thank you so much for being a guest at the podcast. And yeah, I'll leave Jerrod's social media and his YouTube channel on the description. Go follow him, his Instagram and X account. Also, really, really nice threads you'll enjoy reading. Thank you so much, Jerrod.
Thank you so much.